Picture this. You are 13 years old. It is the middle of the night. You are asleep in your bed. And then, two men walk into your room. They do not explain where they are taking you. They put you in handcuffs. They put you in a car. And they drive you to an isolated ranch in the Utah desert where you will spend the next several months of your life. You were not told this was coming. Your parents agreed to it after watching a television show, and the man who recommended it, the man who told your family this place would save your life, is not even a licensed psychologist. That is not a horror movie. That is what happened to Danielle Bregoli, the 13-year-old you knew as the Cash Me Outside girl from Dr. Phil, sent to Turnabout Ranch in Escalante, Utah, in the middle of the night, in handcuffs, because Dr. Phil said it was the right thing to do. And Danielle is not the only one, not even close. This video is about what Dr. Phil's show was actually doing to the teenagers it put on television, and why some of them are still not okay. Okay, 3 things you are going to find out in this video. Number 1, the full story of Turnabout Ranch, what it is, what multiple former residents say happened there, and why Dr. Phil was recommending it to families for years while lawsuits about abuse at the facility were already on public record. Number 2, Hannah Archuleta, the 17-year-old who appeared on Dr. Phil with her parents in 2019, who was sent to Turnabout Ranch the same day, and who later filed a lawsuit against Phil McGraw and Viacom-CBS alleging she was sexually assaulted there, and what Dr. Phil allegedly said to her father in private before they ever went in front of the cameras. Number 3, the bigger picture, because Turnabout Ranch is not the only facility Dr. Phil sent kids to. There is also Provo Canyon School and Island View, and Aspen Achievement Academy. And a pattern across 20 years of this show that a congressional investigation and multiple documentaries have now started to expose. Subscribe right now. This story matters. Let us get all the way into it. Let us start with who Dr. Phil actually is, because this is important context that the show itself never fully disclosed to its audience. Phil McGraw has a doctorate in clinical psychology. He has had the word doctor in front of his name on television for over 20 years. Millions of people associate him with psychological expertise and professional guidance. He built an entire television empire on the idea that he knows how to help people who are struggling. He is not licensed to practice psychology. He has never been licensed to practice psychology in any state. His doctorate is real. His license to practice is not. In 1990, his Texas psychology license lapsed after he faced a complaint involving an inappropriate dual relationship with a client, specifically a 19-year-old female patient who worked for him. He never renewed it, and he has not been a licensed psychologist since. The show never told you that. For over 20 years, while he was putting struggling teenagers on television and recommending facilities for their treatment, he was doing all of this without the professional license that would normally be required to make those recommendations in a clinical setting. That is the foundation, and the house built on it gets much darker from there. Turnabout Ranch is a residential treatment program for teenagers in Escalante, Utah. It has been in operation since 1989. It markets itself as a therapeutic program built around outdoor work and structure and behavioral correction. It charges tens of thousands of dollars. Parents who were desperate for help and who trusted the man on television recommending it sent their children there believing it was safe. The abuse allegations at Turnabout Ranch predate Dr. Phil's involvement. According to a BuzzFeed investigation that went deep into the facility's history, complaints about physical and emotional mistreatment were already on record before the show ever featured it. There was a 2012 lawsuit claiming ranch staff subjected a 15-year-old girl to threats of suffocation, to physical abuse that left her bleeding, to sleep deprivation, to stress positions that the legal complaint described as torture. That lawsuit existed. It was public record, and Dr. Phil kept recommending the ranch. But wait, because here is the specific story that led to the lawsuit that named Dr. Phil personally. And this is the part that changes how you see the entire show. Stay with me. In October 2019, a 17-year-old Colorado girl named Hannah Archuleta appeared on Dr. Phil with her parents. Before they went in front of the cameras, before the live studio audience saw any of it, Phil McGraw allegedly pulled Hannah's father into his private office. And according to the lawsuit filed by Hannah and her attorney Gloria Allred, McGraw said this to her father: "Hannah needs to go to the ranch to have any chance at a good life. It is that serious. We help her right now and today. At the ranch, Hannah will be in a safe environment. She will eat well. She will be treated well. She will have multiple therapies." He said that in private, before the cameras rolled. He told a father, "Your daughter needs to go to this specific place right now, today." And he did not mention the 2012 lawsuit. He did not mention the abuse allegations that were already on public record. He did not mention that a 15-year-old girl had allegedly been subjected to torture at the same facility he was about to recommend on national television. Hannah was sent to Turnabout Ranch. According to her lawsuit, she was sexually assaulted there by a staff member. She reported the assault to the ranch, and according to her account, she was punished for reporting it. She filed a lawsuit against Phil McGraw and Viacom-CBS for negligence. The lawsuit was eventually settled, the terms sealed from public record. Hannah was not the only one. Danielle Bergoli was 13 years old when she appeared on Dr. Phil in 2016. The Cash Me Outside episode, the meme that the whole internet laughed at. While the internet was making that meme, Danielle was being taken to Turnabout Ranch in the middle of the night in handcuffs. She said it herself on YouTube years later. She said they come in the middle of the night and they do not tell you where you are going. They just take you and handcuff you and put you in the car. It is basically kidnapping. She was 13. She was taken from her home in handcuffs to a facility in the Utah desert because Dr. Phil thought it was the right call. At the ranch, Danielle says she was denied necessity privileges. She witnessed children being physically restrained by staff. She was required to sit upright for 3 days with no lying down allowed. She was denied food and clothing. And she was there when another resident at the facility, a boy who had been forced to detox from drugs while sitting in what the facility called the Stone Circle for nearly a week, attacked and killed a staff member. She was 13 years old when all of this happened. Okay, I need you to focus right now because Turnabout Ranch is only one piece of this. And the pattern across Dr. Phil's entire show is what the congressional investigation and the documentaries are now trying to fully document. The facilities Dr. Phil has recommended over the years include Turnabout Ranch in Utah, Provo Canyon School in Utah, Island View in Utah, and multiple programs operated by Aspen Education Group, a company that owned facilities across the country with widespread abuse complaints. Paris Hilton attended Provo Canyon School, not through Dr. Phil, but through her parents. She testified before Congress in 2021 about being stripped naked, kept in solitary confinement, force-fed unidentified medication, and held in isolation for 20 hours at a time without clothing in freezing conditions. She said she was physically and emotionally abused by staff. Provo Canyon School has been operating since 1971. It is still open today. A boy named Alan Knoll spent ages 10 to 15 in 2 different troubled teen programs. He described being waterboarded at Bethel Boys Academy in Mississippi. A staffer held him to the floor with a foot on his chest, while another poured buckets of water over his face. He was 10 years old. A former resident from Island View, a facility Dr. Phil recommended on his show, was placed there after appearing on the program. Her parents filed a lawsuit saying Dr. Phil knew, or should have known, that Island View was a punitive behavior modification lockdown facility that would exacerbate rather than help their daughter's trauma. The complaint described Dr. Phil as a showman, more interested in ratings than a psychologist devoted to healing. He was paid, according to multiple lawsuits, either in money or in promotional consideration, in exchange for recommending these facilities to his audience. He has never confirmed or denied a financial arrangement with Turnabout Ranch or any other facility he recommended. He declined to comment for the Teen Torture Inc. documentary on Max. The Teen Torture Inc. documentary, which premiered on Max in July 2024, and the program on Netflix, which debuted in March 2025, have brought this industry back into public conversation. Survivors who spent years trying to tell this story without being believed now have platforms, attorneys, and in some states, new laws working in their favor. In 2021, Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed a law lobbied for by Alan Knoll, the man who was waterboarded at 10 years old, requiring background checks for staffers and volunteers at child residential homes. It is a start. It is not enough. Here is my full take, and I want you to think carefully about what I am about to say. The troubled teen industry did not exist in a vacuum. It was fed by parents who were desperate and who trusted a man on television who had the word doctor in front of his name and who spoke with absolute authority about what their child needed. Parents who were told, by a man in a private room before the cameras rolled, that their daughter had no chance at a good life without this ranch. Right now. Today. Dr. Phil created the urgency. He provided the recommendation. He had the audience of millions, and he sent child after child to facilities with documented abuse histories while presenting himself as someone with the professional credentials to make those calls. He was not licensed. The facilities were not properly regulated. The children had no choice, and some of them are still carrying what happened to them in those buildings. Danielle Bergoli became Bad Baby. She built a music career. She found her voice, and she has used that voice to advocate loudly for shutting these programs down. She said sending troubled teens to facilities like Turnabout Ranch is part of the whole Dr. Phil show. And she is right. Hannah Archuleta filed a lawsuit and reached a sealed settlement. She was 17. She told a grown man she trusted what happened to her and was punished for it. And the most public figure connected to her placement at that facility has never stood in front of a camera and said her name. Paris Hilton stood before Congress and said she still has nightmares where two men come into her room and kidnap her. She has had those nightmares for decades. She says she will have them for the rest of her life. The show that caused this has been off the air since 2023. Dr. Phil has moved on to a new show called House Calls with Dr. Phil on CBS. He is still on television. He is still advising people. He is still the doctor who is not a doctor, telling families what they need to do to save their children. Comment below right now. Did you watch Dr. Phil growing up and have no idea any of this was happening? Or did you always feel uncomfortable with the way the show treated its guests? And do you think Phil McGraw has ever been properly held accountable for what these families went through? Drop everything below. I am reading every comment. All right, let us close this out. 3 things to take away from this story. 1. Dr. Phil recommended Turnabout Ranch to multiple families on his show for years. A 2012 lawsuit documenting torture of a 15-year-old at that facility was already on public record when he was doing it. He is not a licensed psychologist. He was allegedly paid for his endorsements. and he declined to comment for the documentary that told this story. 2. Hannah Archuleta was sent to Turnabout Ranch at 17 after Dr. Phil allegedly told her father in private, before the cameras rolled, that she had no chance at a good life without going there that day. She was sexually assaulted at the ranch. She reported it. She was punished for reporting it. She sued. It's settled. 3. Danielle Bergoli was 13, taken in handcuffs in the middle of the night. Paris Hilton was at Provo Canyon for 11 months. Alan Knoll was waterboarded at age 10. The industry that Dr. Phil helped to legitimize and popularize with his audience of millions has left a trail of trauma through hundreds of childhoods that those children are still living inside of as adults. If you or someone you know has experienced abuse in a residential treatment program, the Breaking Code Silence organization connects survivors with legal resources and support. Their website is breakingcodesilence.org. Subscribe and hit the bell. More videos like this are coming. I will see you in the next one.